We've been talking about the organization for probably the last 30 or 20 minutes, but I want us to pivot a little bit and talk about your journey, talk about your untold story. Everybody got a story. And most times people just see the finished product and they don't get to hear the story. So I want to ask you about, childhood, growing up. Were you, how, if you care to share some of your upgrowing stories, were you one of the kids that grew up with a silver spoon, as we're saying in Liberia? What was your journey like growing up?
So I think that's a good one because the book again says that we overcame by the blood of the lamb and the words of our testimony. So the question that you're asking me now, maybe hopefully the interview or my testimony will kind of raise someone is down and can kind of they can pivot that condition now. So I've been over if he so just to fast track. I was born to the union of my mom is deceased. And my dad is in Ghanarsville. I have my other mom, people just stepmom, but that's my other mom, who was my big mom there. But I was not, it was a little bit dysfunctional, what I mean? Like I said, Padilla, and truthfully, I speak in truth tonight because I want nothing to take away from my upbringing or my dad or my mom, or my mothers and things like that. And one thing before I get into that, I want to thank everyone the village of people that actually helped me to get to this place, because it took a lot of people, a whole village of people everywhere I went, even though if I was to go through but I was always helped by someone. Some people helped me to catapult me to get to the place. But one thing that really stood out was my humility. I'm always willing to work. I'm not too big to say this and say that. But fast track, I wasn't very, very happy with my upbringing. My dad was very straight on our academics. We went to good school, Semagas. I started out at the Ghanarsville there, Semagas School, kindergarten. That's the only school I went to until the Civil War. But growing up, I think 1990, I went behind the line, we would call it. So I did one semester at Colonna Mission. Excuse me,
Yeah.
Colonna, right? I went to that mission and it was very good because when I came back, I started doing very well in math and stuff. But there was a little bit of dysfunctional, structure going home because one minute my grandma would go across the road to see my dad. Sometimes there was confusion, and I wasn't very satisfied with my upbringing to an extent. The academic side, my dad made sure that it was something that he ingrained in us. We had study class teacher. He made sure we had books. He made sure our tuition was paid. He would provide us our. He was a very loving father. He made sure that he kept us close and school fee was paid. We had lunch and all that study class. Hopefully, I don't repeat myself. But fast track. I always had that. There was some things in the home that I wasn't really satisfied with, and I cleaned grass around my house. I went for wood in the bush. I sell in the market. Did a lot of things. Wash clothes around the house, clean the house, mop the floor, just the ordinary. Wash the pot. All that stuff. But every time we went out, I stood out among my friends. I did pretty well in school. I was not the guy who was first, second, third in the classroom, but I was on a roll. You understand what I'm saying? In spite of everything. I was very talented growing up. I used to like rapping, dancing. And so I think that's where this being bored to kind of speak. Before I thought that I never had it. Yeah, but because I felt as though that in terms of how we lived in the house, that can be personal a little bit. I didn't like it. So I knew that I would stay. When I graduate high school, I'm gonna find my own way. Because I never had an elder brother who I could look up to say, "Oh, he's my mentor." That love, this and that. Yes, I never saw it on my mom's side, on my dad's side. Never really had that mentorship. Fast track, graduated. Same year I graduated. I remember we're doing because we took the national exam twice. First we took it in 96, 97, and due to the April 6th, we had a resit national exam. So the last day after national exam, I left. I think I left my house. I went to Banga and came back to my house with a whole big problem. I couldn't stay there, this and that. But so I told myself I would leave this house. So I did. I ran away from home. I ran away from right after national exam. My friend took a bus. He was one of the conductors on the bus. Took the Liberians. He went on campus. He saw me. I said, my man, I got to go Ghana with you. We got to go. He says, my man, but you know this bus? I'm only a conductor on the bus, so there's no way. I said, my man, I have to go. So is there any way you guys can help me when we get to Ghana? I will pay you guys. He said, but we will have to see how we can work it out. And so that night I went home. I already planned out everything. Already I never had anything because I went to see my mom in Banga. The little clothes that I had, it got stolen. So when I came back to Monrovia, I had this little problem with my dad and my family at home. So it was not really nice. And I took the risks that night. I had my uniform trouser on, the t-shirt, I had a plastic bag, nothing in it. My little brother escorted me. This story is being told for the first time. And because my dad was very upset with my little brother. My little brother said he never knew. And hopefully this video will is being televised so the world will see it. So we walk halfway down the street. I told him, I said, you don't go back home. I walked and went on Kesley Boulevard that night. Early that morning, I think it was about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So we went looking town where they had the bus. We got to get on the bus. It was not easy. Everybody arguing, oh, he can't get on the bus. He doesn't have money, this and that. So I said, you know what I mean? Please, I was staying. Let me just stand on the bus. Plus, I never had any travel document. But a friend of mine came from Ghana with his TC, which is the traveling document thing. I think they call it TC. So
like a laissez-passer kind of?
Yes. So I took a picture of mine that I had. I cut the picture. I stamped my picture in that book.
You are determined.
They will test me tonight. So I was traveling with a different name now. So I'm on the bus and I know my dad's so possessive. That morning they agreed. I'm standing on I stood on the bus from Liberia to Ghana.
Wow.
No money. And I forgot, you know, when life gets better, sometimes you can forget about some of the
journey.
adversities you go through. So and this is a true life story for a young man who is giving up, believing in yourself, because it is possible. Your current condition does not determine your tomorrow. You can be anything if you put your mind to it. So I stood on that bus, no money, with the promise that when I get to Ghana, I will pay them. We luckily we drove past Ghana's Junction, I would call it red light, and then we got to Kakata. Now we started getting to Banga. We crossed. I said I was free now. I said, oh, my dad. And because my dad was fit. He said, you see me on that bus? Because I'm thinking, they said, boy, Ayiti, we've not seen him, you know. But anyway, fast track, got we on that bus. I think I was begging people for water to drink. I really never, and that part of this story, my friend who actually was the conductor on the bus when I was finishing grad school, he brought the story up and said, Ayiti, you're strong. Remember that? So we got to Ghana, and I saw Ghana. The story is like the story of the children of Israel, right? That were in Egypt. And when we got to Ghana, I said, where I lived. I live in a house. My house was in a concrete house and everything. But when I went to Ghana, I said, where were we? He said, this is the place. So the next thing I started thinking about, I said, maybe I was better off back home. So yeah, and they had to go back to Monrovia because they ran the bus stop. So they went back, and I'm there. You know, I was telling him, I said, no, I really want to experience difficulty. He said, my man, don't say that. And it happened. So life started getting tough. But I started going to this one church, the Methodist church, and started getting involved with some community engagement stuff. The school I started teaching, I was a TA teaching the elementary section with the Burundi Refugee School. The one teacher would allow me to go there and help out. So I started becoming new on the camp. You know, I would go sweep the church in the morning, and then I said the next thing, you know, I need to be doing something. And so they had these technical schools, you know, teaching building construction, carpentry. I enrolled myself there. When I enrolled myself, and this is where my career today now started from. So I enrolled myself in the school. I started doing well with architectural drafting, you know, construction. I became the president of the class, and I started teaching at the same time because I like to talk about, like when I read something, when I see people, even if you're not in my field study, if you sit down with me, I'll bring that lecture and we start talking. I start giving insight. And the professor said, the teacher at the time, he said, oh, but then you know, you're going to be my aide. So I became his aide. I became very good with laying brick, you know, setting up how to acquire a plot, how to set up the building, everything. And fortunately, I graduated. Then I went to another tech school with did building construction. So then I'm in this church. I became the choir president. I was actively involved. I was some kind of secretary in the church. Everybody knew me. And I'm walking out the door this one day after fasting and praying. So I don't have no family because I had written my dad. I wrote my mom that I was sorry. I wanted to go back, this, that, and all that. So my dad didn't write me back. My mom wrote back. She wrote back the content of a letter. She said, "My son, you can't come back. You gotta go because I can't afford to take care of you. And all along, your dad, he's the man in charge. So you just gotta find a way."
Yeah.
I tell you that by then my friend left now. He went back to Morocco because life was tough in Ghana. I'm skipping some stuff, fast track. So I'm in Ghana and I cried that day. I lived in a room with no window, a small room, my legs long. I can't even close the door. So I cried, and I say, you know what? This is it. I don't have no family no more. I got to keep going. So my goal and objective was to go to Ghana, to Nigeria, and before that whole thing with the school stuff. So the fact that my mom, the letter came, and that content of the letter was, "You got to keep pushing." That was a turning point for me. I felt like, I don't have no one but the man up and myself. So I'm walking out the church, fast track, and this lady sees me. She says to me, "Where are your family?" I said, "I don't have no family." And she said, "Well, I mean, come to my house. I have an opportunity to travel to the States. I want to talk to you about it." Long story short, I went to her house. She said, "I will taking you to America." That's how I came to this country. Came to this country as a refugee. And when I came, I said, I'm pursuing construction. I'm thinking construction. And the fact that I came to the Philly area, everybody was heavily involved into human services. So, I started working in human services, but I started going to the community college where I came with no high school credentials. Even though I graduated in Liberia, I had to name change and everything. So when I got here, I had to go to sit for some kind of exam, but I did very well in the exam. So I started college and I did my 2.5 years, got my associates in construction, applied science, construction technology. I got that. And then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to pursue a degree in civil engineering. That's that year when I had my associate. I had a whole lot going on in my life because when I was younger, I used to play around, but I took my school serious. So I started having some hurdles along the way. I went to Temple University. I did a couple of semesters there. I dropped. Finally, when I was ready to go back to school, I went to Widener Private University, fast track, where I graduated with a bachelor's in civil engineering. It was not easy. It was a tough journey, but I was able to overcome those challenges. I finished. And then after that, everybody was like, you went to school for engineering? You black? You're never going to find a job in that. Yeah, I was told that many times in the community. But, so I branched off. I started selling cars. I used to go hustle cars, and I was still working that. But then one day, I said, what happened? This job that I work, I used to work human service. I said, I'm quitting this job. I'm not going to wait until I find a job before I'm quitting this job because of my job. They used to talk about, oh, God, this smart guy. But when you get to trying to promote me, and I said, no, I just want to be at a mediocre level. I'm okay. I don't want to get comfortable, and then I will not pursue my dream. So in fact, when I did my resignation, the supervisor at the time, he said, you sure you want to do this? I said, yes, that's what I want to do. So I was looking at the map. I wanted the mattress, I wanted to jump up and get a bed and moving from the mat to they got to give away the mat. You got to give away the mattress.
Right. I love it.
I started applying for job heavily. I left the job. I started applying. I got into real estate investing. So I used to go out, find property. I talk to the people, act like, oh, I want to buy the house. So I would secure it. And someone who has the money, I would put it on a 30 days contract and then get some money. So I started doing that. And then luckily for me, I had my first opportunity in New York. I had a job with the MTA, I think, in New York Transit Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there. It was a good salary, but then it was so expensive to live there. So I had to decide. And right in that time, then I had another offer here in Pennsylvania. It was a small job. I said, I want to start small because I with the degree, I was wondering. I said, what do I know? And the job they were offering me was that big position because of the interview, the way I responded. I was a little bit frightened. So I said, let me start small. Then I can work my way up. So I started out, doing with a township. And once I started doing that job, I had an opportunity with the Pennsylvania Turnpike as a consultant. So I started working in my field, as a civil engineer. I was an inspector for a year or so. In fast track, I can talk all the stuff that happened. Then I move on from one company to another. But a lot of things happened because when I got on the turnpike working there was a problem. The company I was working for, they were, giving kickbacks to these government officials. So they took the contract from them. And I was an inexperienced guy who went there. Everybody was at that level. You had to sit for an exam. Luckily, I wanted to sit for the people exam. They got 4 in highway. I took the test. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, I was a novice and took that test. Came home, my result came. I went straight from level 1. I went straight to level 3.
Wow.
Yeah, blessingly, I went to level 3. God was working. And so they took the project from those people, and then another company came. The testimony too long. So I was like, I think this is it for me because I'm the guy here who has the least experience. I went home that day. I was so afraid. The next day I went to work. They had to bring two other firms to get because a lot of the projects you see, they're the federal projects, but they give them out to these consultant firms. So, but I like construction so much that I go there, I read the specs, I read the special provision, I ask questions. I will go into work on the days I'm off. I mean, I do my own reading. So when they ask me some questions, the people that have been in the industry, they knew the field stuff, but I would just say some stuff and then. So I did that. I was lucky. I move on. I work on the island, as a project manager in Puerto Rico for some time. And then I got transitioned to the Virgin Island where I stayed too. I worked there as a project manager, technical inspector. They didn't even know I'm sitting home. I just get this call. Oh yeah, we saw your resume. We said we like you. We need to send 2 weeks. I'm on that side. I'm flying and I'm there. So God really worked things out. And then I fell sick there. I came back to the States. Yet and still, I kept moving up. And in Pennsylvania, I'm in Virginia, I'm working in Massachusetts, I'm working all over the country now. And then it got to a point where I was about to leave Roadway, I getting on bridge, and and right now I work for a firm in New Jersey, doing these huge bridges, been around for 100 years and this and that, all over the place. But yeah, so it has been a journey. I have no words to express. And what I took from there, I said, but then the knowledge I have acquired, I think it's time for me to kind of give back. So I said, but then when I do my show, I will do some presentation, I'll do some teaching. I can't go in depth with some technical stuff, but I can give a synopsis so people can understand. So when I come up there, you see, I do my lecture, talk about reconciliation, then I will branch off and talk a little bit about. But that's the journey, God has blessed me so much. So I feel that that's all I do. I go around, sometimes share story with people. I see people and I encourage them, let them know that it is not over until it is over.
Right.
You can't give up. You're not your last name. You're not your family back. You're not your family. The book says that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So you just got to believe in yourself. You have the ability to say, let there be, and there will be, to speak things into existence. So that's my philosophy. I think I took that. This is why I'm translating now into the talk show, so that people who giving up won't believe. People in my community don't know. They didn't know what I was doing. I do what the Bible says. What your right hand does, the left hand is not supposed to know about it. So everything that's happening now has been something that I've been doing in the back. It's just coming up to light. So that's just a little bit about my story, and I want to you know, to encourage some young man or some young woman. Maybe you're giving up. You think it's over. You don't have to worry. Sometimes you have to take risks. You don't have to see it. You know, sometimes you step out of the box, and this is what we are doing. You know, God, you can't drop from the sky. We had to come through our parents, you know, but we cannot blame our people for things that's the channel and the way in which we came. But when we hear, then we hear. One of my shows to talk about the knowledge of self, it took the sperm to meet the egg. Until that, the man who did that is programmed. Take any filter, sperm and egg, put it together, you have a person. So it ain't got nothing to do with nobody. I understand that. Oh, your parents are supposed to do this and do that, but don't be in the position of being the hobby of trying to blame people for your condition. You got to rise up. You got to stand up. God will put people. God will take someone from that is holding a door, and put someone there to open that door for you to walk through. You know, so you know that's just a little bit about myself, and now you know I am transitioning into some other things. You know, starting my small consultancy. I have the platform going, and we'll talk about how the platform got to this point. You know, how we encounter our host tonight. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Wow. What a beautiful, though emotional, but what a beautiful story. I hope that, you know, you can tell this story more and more, especially to the younger generation, all the time, every time. It's just a story that need to be told over and over. So thank you for sharing.
No problem.
So I want to go deeper into your career. I know you mentioned a civil engineer. I want to go. I listened to one of your shows where you talk about the roads, you know, something about roads in Liberia and stuff like that. So let's talk about the roads, the bridges in Liberia. Do you think they're up to par?
Oh well, that's something that I think ever since it's funny, you know, my last year in school, did a steel bridge design team. So roadway, I always been something that I wanted to road and bridge. You know, a lot of people don't know they are two different things: roadway construction and then bridge construction. Now, to answer your question about our roads in Liberia, in the first place, I I don't think that when it comes to our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, there's no standard. You know, someone would say, I either don't say that we have standard, but for what I have seen over the years, since I knew myself, our roads in Liberia, I don't know if their standards of roads, you know, as far as looking at the country, I would think that the department itself will be talking about having their roadway classified. And what do I mean by that? Since we do have Liberia is a country, it's not like the United States. So we can have our national roads, we can have our inter-county roads, since we have county, and then we have a municipal road. I feel as though when I've heard the public works minister speak, they just talk about feeder roads and they talk about this road, but I don't hear them talking about standards of roads. I don't really hear them talking about the specifications, our special provisions. I don't really hear them talking about, because this is what we will hold the contractors that we are giving our projects to. We can hold them accountable. In one of my shows, or maybe series of the shows, I talked about the Bible, which is the specifications that we should pen. The department should sit there and pen. Let's forget about even building, because that will come later. If we can sit back and then put together fine specifications for our national roads, and then we classify our roads, right? We have national road, we have inter-county road, and then we have our municipal roads. Then we already have the standards. Then we can just sit down. We write these specifications that actually depicts how these roads are to be built. Then we put together bulletins, because the roads owned by the department, by the country, especially the national road, even the inter-county road are owned by county governments. Then you got the municipal roads. So it will be smaller roads that smaller cars would plow, you know, but then our national roads will be the roads that you got big trucks. So to answer your question, I don't think, you know, roadway is not only limited to just driving on the road, you know, but we also need to make sure that the road safety. So we're talking about our guardrails, you know, you don't hear them talking about that. Our traffic signs, you don't really hear them talking about that. You know, even you know, just you driving motorists, they need to be informed as they drive. So when it comes to the roadway, it's not just limited to just driving on the road. Someone, all of the roads that you hear them talking about, they're resurfacing those roads. Those are maintenance work. But we're talking about new road construction, where we're building the road from scratch. So, but if we put the standard together, like I said, then all we have, the department will have to do to train her in-house staff. Two things the department can do. You write your specification, put your specific provisions together. We have our in-house design team design our roadways. So these are the standards that we'll use. So for example, we say that, okay, we're building a bridge. The bridge, like I said on some of my show, bridge has several components. It has the superstructure, you got the parapets, you got the wing walls, you got this and that. And all of those components of the bridges that I just talked about, whether it's let's just say it's a concrete bridge, those members, they got different classification of concrete if it's a concrete bridge. So then we narrow it to our construction material. But what are they holding the contractors to? Anybody can build anything. So what standard are you holding the Chinese contractor that came to Liberia? What standard are you holding him to build your bridge? If you don't have any standard, any specification, any drawing, the standard drawings, we're supposed to say they're coming. These are the drawings that you will use to build our roads. You know what I'm saying? These are the, for example, you have, if you drive on the road, you will see here in America they have AASHTO, it's the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. Then you got the HW Highway Administration. Then you have I guess it's National Highway and Transportation Official. So then they have the standard, American standard of testing for testing material. You know what I mean? For concrete, for coarse aggregate, which is the cross rock, for fine aggregate, your sand. So all the things that come from life, even the soil, they have to be tested. So those are the things that we need to set up first. Then we can say, okay, these are the standard. Then we train our inspectors, we train our in-house staff, we send them to follow. Even when we go to bed, we have put together standards, and they will be able to build based on the standard. And what we need to do to also to have quality control, besides our in-house staff, we can have agencies, testing agencies, or consultants that will go there to make sure that what we're paying for is what they're putting down. But the fact that we don't have those things in place, we don't have it in place until we, on a very serious note, someone will say, oh, we have it there. Who monitors these roads? You know, what are you holding the contractor to? My little brother in Liberia, he has a small firm, and we be talking. I'm supposed to go and see them. And these are the things that we went to meetings, and I proposed these things. And he was really excited. You have an asphalt firm that's coming to Liberia. The department is supposed to have bulletins. They're supposed to have the plans, designated plans to say, this is the asphalt that we want. Asphalt is a combination of aggregates. They got I think explosive distillation of crude oil, all that stuff in the asphalt cement. They put all together to form the asphalt. It comes from the plant. So when we're doing these mix, they call it job mix formula, people should be there to say, okay, this is the mix that we want. So when they're taking it from the site and they take it to from the plant and they take it to the site, we need to have people there. When it's being placed, we need to have people there. We need to core sample them. We need to take them to the lab. We test them. They can do simulation so that the same way the material will act on a loading condition on the roadway, we can test it in the lab to know, and then we can know the actual of the trucks that will be using these roads. So to answer your question, I don't think we are not there yet. Somebody would say, I think you're going too far. But the reason why I'm saying this, Tevi, because it's important that this is a strategic plan for 20, 30 years from now. Let's sit down. It goes back to how can they know until they have a teacher, because they don't know. The public works minister, I saw him boasting on Spoon Talk. I had to go and make a video. He denigrated the engineers. Those guys, they're asking a question, or do you think that, I'll pay you a little bit. They're asking a question, do you think that a civil engineer, public works minister would be preferable, or you will be able to do the work? And he said, oh no, I'm able to do the work because, there was stuff that happened at the department of public works, and I was the one who came and fixed it in the first place.
Is he a civil engineer?
He's not. He's not. But he works. He's been working at the ministry for some time. And I think they need someone who has the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for a job. I didn't go to make video because I'm looking for a job. No, I'm not looking for a job. I will not go to Liberia. But I love the country. And I think what kind of people we want to be? Those are the questions. You know, when you ask the question, plenty of things coming into my head. So to answer the question, I don't think that we're ready. You know, when you hear the money, they're talking about 20 million out of that money to build roads. 50 million money to build roads. No, even a 1 mile road based on the depth of the road, you know, based on the road widening, you know. So it depends on the depth of the road. It depends on the class of the road. So until we can sit down and design, you know, and pen our specification that we can hold these people to. And not only that, Telvi, we need to train our craftsmen. We need to train our plumber, we need to train our electrician, we need to train. So when we train these people, and then we have a accredited body that will certificate them. So when we do that, we're about to create some kind of middle class, because what will happen? We said the guy who is going to build a house or build a road, they can even bring the construction material and put it down because he's being paid good. He's not stealing the material. So there's a lot of stuff. As I was trying to propose something to call, I don't know, I'm taking it too far, but something to call the Ayiti Williams prevailing wage rate. You know, where we hire these guys when they go to school, we certificate them. Say, for example, plumber in Liberia, we'll pay you $15 US an hour, right? Or $20 US. Someone will say, well, why are you paying $20? Well, you know what the work the guy's about to do. If you pay him $5 and you got your construction material, then he will steal it and carry it. But if you pay him $30, he's able to take care of his family, this and that. And then what we'll do, we'll not stop there. Just because we see you paying $30, we'll hold your company accountable. We'll make sure we'll have people to come and do random interview, ask them and say, look, how much you getting paid? You understand? Oh, you know what I mean? Because we'll have a bulletin and say, oh, the plumbers ought to get paid this. And then if you don't get paid, you know what I mean? We can't give you the job.
Right.
So now when you know that, you know what I mean? You're not seeing the man to say, I know James, foolish James, I'm not paying him $20. But you know what? James married the $20 because he is a certified electrician or plumber or paver. So to answer the question, those are some of the things, strategies that we need to put in place. And until we do that, we're playing games. You know, the bidding oil in the alleyway, you know, so the breaking people down. We need to leave the city, in fact. We need to build new cities. We need to build new roads. The country is moreover, is congested. Yeah. You know, we need to leave there and start building, you know, have strategic plan how we can, so that we can have quick mobility. People can be able to move goods and services around. He said, I mean, we'll boost the economy. So, but just to answer the question, I'll be going all over the place. I wouldn't stop talking.
No, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. No, I love it.
I think we're not making. They just resurfacing these roads. Yeah. This is resurfacing them. They're not doing good. I follow some of the roads in those counties like Grand Judea. You know, I always see them to apply the road. I have a big brother friend of mine who is an engineer. You know, I think he went to school in Nigeria. I respect him a lot because he taught me in Ghana. You know, so we exchange roles as we exchange notes every once in a while. And I say these things. What we need to do, the government need to invest in laboratory equipment. We need to have labs there. And then when these companies, so for example, now that we don't have the trained staff to do it, no problem, we can outsource our job. But these people should come and allow them to also train our people. Eventually, then we empower people. They will be the contractor. Then we can eventually leave the people. Because someone asked me the question once, do you think Liberia engineers are able to build the roads? And for now, they may have the know-how, but because we don't have the technology, we may not able. But if we are strategic, some of the things I'm talking about, we can do these things. The money that one representative is taking $20 million, stealing it, investing into our people, the human capacity. Right. Eventually, then the output will be great. We'll be having our smaller contractors. We'll be having roller. We'll be having everything that we need to make sure we can have a nice finished product. That whatever we have on the plan, when they build the road, it looks exactly like what's on the plan. The reason why your house is twisted, because they don't have the proper equipment. They don't train these people, so the men do a mediocre job. If you're not going to build, don't build right. The reason why I don't have a house in Liberia, I'm not going to allow anybody to go and build something that's not right. I can build my house on the slump. Right. Then you're not building right. So the roads, to answer the question, the roads, no, Telvi. Not to condemn anyone, but I know for a fact, you know what I mean? And they intimidated with this kind of conversation will intimidate the minister. He won't like it. He's doing a fine job, you know what I mean? But I think let them give this thing to experienced people so that Liberia can look at the roundabout the people built. You saw the drainage?
Yeah, I saw it, but I don't know much about roads, so I just kind of saw it. But what I do know is that even some of the roads they were constructing, even from Malasteli time, they would build the road, a year or two, and the road is all messy again. So obviously they're not putting enough time and effort to what they're doing. I know that for sure. So
and after that, the one thing about building roads is not only limited to drainage. You got to take into account with drainage. And another thing I come to talk about, which I know we can get there, our aquatic organism, our streams, we're polluting them because what's happening too, all these construction materials, the spill, the drainage, they don't do proper drainage calculation. Go see the slope, the grade. The people put stuff all in the drainage, so you have backups. So there's a lot of things to consider. I'm telling you, all they're doing, the resurfacing the roads. They're not really building roads. It is the quality. The quality is one thing. Their roadway alignment. How do you build a road? How do you resurface a road here? You go and come back. The next day, somebody drive on it or something. Because in fact, just even if they were doing some kind of maintenance, roadway when it comes to asphalt, it has the two types of pavement that I know that's very popular, which is the rigid pavement, and then you have the asphalt pavement. Rigid pavement will have it's the reinforced concrete. They have rebars and all that, like chairs. You can see them when you drive. You live in Texas, so you will see it a lot. They build it all over the place because of international standard. Then for the asphalt has 3 layers. You have the base, you have the intermediate course, and then you have the wearing course. So I was asking the guy there, I said, so how these roads, what are the layers? And he said, oh my man, we just put one there. So that's exactly what's happening. You put that one base, so you don't have the intermediate course, and then you don't have the wearing course. Go and see how the people build their road. That base that will come, the way it's compacted, we're testing it. Then it will come the next day, maybe I'll put the intermediate. That wearing course is the final course that you drive on to give that smoothness. So when they do that, also they come and test the rideability. Then they do the core sample. These things are going to the lab. If it's not good, the contractor, you're taking everything out, or you don't get paid. Yeah. So and you're plenty in trouble. So you see what we're talking about. It's not just So that's the thing about going on one.
That's relative. No, this is relative. So 2 questions for you though. You think Liberia is going to get there? First question.
No, let me tell you, no doubt. Same way, the question you ask, if someone asks, so, well, why do you think at the time, when I started doing this, and what do you think Buckeye is the right candidate, this and that? And my response to your question, now that you're asking that, I've decided, the WE2 movement, we've decided to choose optimism over cynicism. You know what I'm saying? So we believe strongly that it's only a matter of time. And that's why we want to build the new Liberia from the standpoint where we're building up the younger generation, because those are the people we need to attack. If we attack those people, if we create a philosophy, an ideology, they're going to run with it. And then when they run, because the different love, the reason why America created a philosophy. The people love their country. See the soldiers, see the kids. They're committed to it. They want this country to be better. Myself, where I work at sometimes, I said, but they're spending too much money on this person watching over this and this person, but they're doing this check and balance. So I do believe with this kind of mindset, about changing our people's mindset, I believe strongly that even it will be a gradual change. It will be a gradually, the book says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. And if we're not patient, then we will not achieve that our goal and objective. But I think if we are strategic, we are patient, like I said, if we choose, optimism over cynicism, definitely Liberia will be better.
I love it. So, obviously you're a subject matter expert in road construction and everything around construction. And you're passionate about what you do. You know, it's hard to find that combination. Have you had a chance to talk to somebody, the head of public works in the previous government or this government, to just kind of change notes and ideas?
Well, now that I'm on the platform, and I know you don't want to announce this, but I'll be in Liberia at some point. You know, the platform too, the awareness that we created, we're hoping that someone will see it and will say, I think, oh yeah, well, we can invite him, we can lecture, and then because, but like we're saying, we're not. I have no political ambition. I have no aspiration for their jobs. What I want is I have an opportunity to be in the private sector. So definitely, I am looking forward to that, because where else can we go? Tell me about it. And I think we had the conversation before behind the scenes. There are many of us here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? There are many of us here. But I think it would be better in our country if we can go there and give back, and if they will allow us and give us the space to contribute. Definitely, I would definitely want to be there to make sure that everything that I'm talking about, I'm very passionate about it. I hope that someone is listening and will provide some kind of space and opportunity to say, oh yeah, and let's make it happen. You can come and talk, to our people. And not only talk like we're saying, we just don't want to keep talking this talk. I can sit here and talk all this, but if they will not allow us, we shouldn't be intimidated. The people that are there. And that's why the same thing. We too are Liberians. We are all the same. You understand? So if they give us the opportunity to go there, and we definitely would like to give back. And that's why we want to do our own stuff. We want to sample some of our stuff. We can put an exhibit. People can see and showcase it. If you come to try it, like you would try some of our product. You know what I mean? You would try it, and then if you like it, definitely you go for it. So that's our goal and objective, and we believe strongly that definitely it's going to happen. We can die for this. We can go. We definitely no joke. I'm not playing. So yes, to answer your question.
Thank you. Wow, this is rich. So we talk about the road construction. We talk about your journey, the untold journey, the really journey that ever brought tears in my eyes. I don't cry easily, but hearing some of that brought tears in my eyes. We talk about schooling, but one thing.
Well, no, I wanted to tell you. I didn't tell you that. So I did my undergraduate, and I went to pursue a master's, Keller Graduate School, in project management. And also, once I got done, I had a little bit of problem, and I said, I got to go to, I want to terminal degree. So when I did apply to do my doctoral in project management. So I applied, I was accepted, I started, and I think around the same time I started, my mom passed away. Did very well the first semester. Same thing, project management. All my emphasis in railway. It's funny, even grad school was so easy because most of the professor, everything I write in my projects I do. So I
everything.
Funny, and I just could give my paper, and they would just let me just go, and then we talk about.
And they love it.
Yeah. So yes, I would say that I'm in pursuit of a doctoral degree, a terminal degree in project management at the Liberty University. But I don't like to talk about it because of the people that I work around. So I always hide my stuff. I used to be at work, even when I was going to grad school. I'll be at work, and I would just kind of sneak and then go to school. So and then when I was graduating, in fact, I invited my boss. He was like, "Really? When you used to go to school?" Yeah, I used to kind of sneak, and then I would go to class. And then I was graduating. He attended my graduation. So yeah, that's so there's no stop. There's no stopping. There's no stopping. Hopefully we intend to finish that. We were supposed to be done a couple of years ago, but things happen, so we decided to take time off. But what we believe too, one thing we believe here is that having all the degree is nothing. You know what I mean? It's what you do with it, and that's where we say it take your education from theory to bring it into practice. So it doesn't matter where you become. You don't need a PhD. You don't need a bachelor. You don't need Ralph Emerson said in a lecture back in 1871. He said, "If a man can write a better book, preach a better sermon, or build a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even if he builds his house in the wood, the word is going to make a beaten path to his door." Dr. King concluded by saying, if it cannot be a tree, be a bush. Can't be a highway, be a trail, but be would be the best version of whatever you choose to be.
Amen. I love it. Man, this is so thought provoking. So before we draw down the curtains, I just because the movement is in the business of empowering people, yeah, and conditioning minds, and not in the business of empowering pimps and hustlers.
No.
Want to talk about some things that have been trending in our communities globally. Women insulting each other of all ages. Men too insulting each other. Just misbehaving on social media far from the intended purpose. Any word for them? Any advice? For them?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I know. I just want to. I can use not to. I use an example. I know months back there was especially those who were up there. Our brother Costa Stenton. They had a little scaffold one time, and then I had a show where at the conclusion of the show, I cautioned them not to. We cannot allow the things of this world, to carry. Unfortunately, the same thing. How can they know until they have a teacher? The reason why people go on social media, think about where I was created to connect us.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot use this. People using it to monetize it, right? People making money off of it. This is some people full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that people are using to really improve the quality of their life. Why would we use this medium? This is someone creation, and that's why not to divert. The same way someone created Facebook, social media was not built for the purpose, the intended purpose that we're using it to humiliate, to insult, to bring people down. If you go to the scripture used for us to make correction, to rebuke, redirect, and this and that, I think we should use it for the same purpose. So I would try to, caution our brothers and our sisters. I can't. We're all work in progress, and I'm not perfect. So I just pray that, especially because people, and the thing about it, people, the younger generation are more attracted to negativity.
Mm-hmm.
You see someone who has a negative platform, and when they start talking, they have 1,000, 2,000 people, and you wonder why. But you come there with something of substance, something that will elevate the mind, something that will promote enhance, the lives of people. People don't care. Like we talk about, we're not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. This is what the people are doing, even on the social media, because they use the platform. Those people are raising thousands of dollars, and you will go there with something of substance. A friend of mine just opened his private practice, and he had an event, like an opening event. I MC the program. How many people went there? What contribution he got? You know what I mean? That could have been on social media, but we're using this medium to tear ourselves down. I'm not supposed to be humiliating my brother. I'm not supposed to be humiliating my sister. We're not supposed to be using it. We have lost our culture and our tradition. We never did this before. If you never saw, a younger person insulting an older person, not like that, and because it was more like. And that's why, we'll go back to that African proverb that say that it takes a village to raise a child. But if the child is crazy, if the village is crazy, what kind of children the village will produce? Crazy children.
Exactly.
So this is what's happening on social media. So what we want to say to them, we are, like I say, that we are all work in progress, but we're encouraging them that we are the example, and they are the example. Once you get up here, you start being on social media, you some kind of influencer. Use this instrument to improve the lives of people, to better of yourself, and to make so that we can make not only Liberia, make our world a better place, but to narrate to Liberia. I think that's exactly what we need to do. So moving forward, I would say to all of those, even the young brother, Richmond, when he and his wife had that situation, I made a show for him, and was encouraging people to pray for him. It was up to him, to see how he could kind of bridge the gap. But I think that our people are using this medium for the wrong reason. So let's pivot our attention or our actions from negativity to something positive.
Awesome. So before we draw down the curtains, I'm going to pull the phone number up for people to call in. Just probably about 5 minutes. If we don't have any call, we'll have some parting comments and then we'll call it a night. We know the night is fast spent and we all got to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the number to call is 469-674-3668. You're calling with your comments, you're calling with your criticism. We ask that you just be respectful if you're going to criticize. And you can call in, and ask the guests some questions. Question about their organization, question about construction, question about anything, his journey, his story, So this is your opportunity. Again, the link is there. We ask you to subscribe to his channel. WE2R Liberian. If you just type in the search engine on YouTube, it's just a WE2R Liberian. It was gonna come up. Looking up on Facebook. Follow him. Follow his teaching. They're rich. Obviously, you can follow me. I go by Telvi. I share his stuff too, so you can follow me. You'll see his stuff on my page, on my nonprofit page. You can subscribe to our About You channel. You can subscribe to our nonprofit channel as well, the Liberian Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Nonprofit. You can subscribe to that as well. And of course, while we're waiting for calls, I got to put this sales pitch in. Most people know that I'm a graphic designer. So if you want any kind of graphics work, reach out to me. We can make it happen. We're not the best, but we can make it happen.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
We can make it happen. If you want to build your platform like what you see now, we can make it happen at a very, very reasonable price. Yeah, if you want to do videos, whatever, all things graphics, we can make it happen. So Ayiti will just wait for probably another 2 minutes for somebody to call. If no call, but we can still be talking. Is there anything that I left out that you want to touch on, that you want the audience to hear while waiting for a call?
Yeah. No, maybe one last thing, and I want to thank you for the opportunity again, for allowing me in your space, and to be able to share this platform with you this particular time. And I know I have something that I left out. Today the platform, we elevated to YouTube channel and all that stuff was through your instrumentality. You saw you acknowledged the method, the teaching, and you wanted to make sure that we take it from that level and to take it to another level. So we appreciate it. We don't take it lightly. We know that your gift will make room for you. And so, and we will go out there and spread the word too and let people know that not only that you're doing the work, but the quality of work that you do. It's unmatched. And we are very grateful, no words to express.
Thank you.
And we don't want to use a lot of satire here tonight.
No, we need satire. We need ABC language.
No, we use satire now. Did I use a lot of satire? No satire
to that. We go
I think everybody can understand, right?
Right. Third grade level. Yeah. Third grade, fifth grade level. That's the max. Yeah. But we're not gonna waste any further time. I don't think we have a call here. And so I will let you wrap up. And in your closing, you can talk about anything else that you think you want to reinforce or anything we left out. So this is your turn.
All right. It's great to be on the About You. Again, I'm the MC Ayiti Williams as I conclude, founder and visionary of the WE2 R Liberians Movement. I'd like to conclude by saying that the WE2 movement is not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people. And so we hope that you follow us on Facebook, on YouTube. We look forward to, being a part of whatever you're doing. But we strongly believe that, the condition and the mindset of our people, if it's changed, the things around them will change. So that's it for the night. It was great being here. Telvi, once again, thank you very much for having me. You have a great and a very pleasant night. Look forward to maybe being in the
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter. Well then, enough of them sell out.